Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. Fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi surfaces in Belgium. India requests extradition. IMF data shows India's GDP doubles in a decade at a growth of 105%, outpacing major economies. Israel carries out multiple retaliatory airstrikes on Lebanon. Strikes endanger shaky truce between Israel and Hezbollah. Protests continue for a fourth night in Istanbul against detention of Mayor Ekrem Imamoglu for alleged corruption and terrorism. Team India joins in the walkathon to promote Fit India initiative, focused on accessibility for specially abled persons. Israeli artillery and airstrikes hit South Lebanon on Saturday after Israel said it had intercepted rockets fired from across the border. This incident has endangered a shaky truce that ended a year-long conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. The conflict marked the deadliest spillover of the Gaza conflict and a blistering Israeli offensive after months of cross-border exchanges of fire wiped out Hezbollah's top commanders and much of its arsenal. Though Hezbollah denied responsibility for Saturday's strikes, saying it had no link to the rocket launches and that it remained committed to the ceasefire. 6 rockets were fired, 3 of which crossed into Israel and were intercepted. Under the November ceasefire deal, Hezbollah was to have no weapons in southern Lebanon. Israeli ground troops were to withdraw and Lebanese army troops were to deploy into the area. The agreement specifies that Lebanon's government is responsible for dismantling all military infrastructure in southern Lebanon and confiscating all unauthorized arms. But since then, each side has accused the other of failing to implement the deal in full. Meanwhile, thousands of Israelis demonstrated in Tel Aviv on Saturday against decision by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government to dismiss the head of Shin Bet domestic intelligence service and resume fighting in Gaza. Netanyahu said this week he had lost confidence in Ronen Bar, who had led Shin Bet since 2021, and intended to fire him effective April 10th, prompting 3 days of protests. Israel's Supreme Court issued an injunction on Friday, temporarily freezing the dismissal. Netanyahu has dismissed accusations that the decision was politically motivated. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu in a video message said that Israel will remain a democratic state despite the government sacking the internal security chief.
Ronen Bar will not stay as head of Shin Bet. There will not be civil war, and Israel will remain a democratic state.
And in an interview, Chief Foreign Policy Advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Ofer Falk said that Israel is applying military pressure on Hamas in an effort to bring home the remaining hostages in Gaza. Falk said he expects Lebanon to uphold its end of a shaky truce.
Hamas unfortunately understands military pressure and only military pressure. In November 2023, we got over 80 hostages out for one reason: military pressure. That's the only reason. The only reason they went back to the negotiation table was military pressure. And that's what we're doing right now, and we're going to get all of the hostages back home.
Russia's overnight drone attack on Kiev has left a trail of destruction, injuring at least 7 people and sparking fires in high-rise apartment buildings. Ukrainian officials reported that emergency services were dispatched to multiple districts to combat the blazes. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko confirmed that 1 person has been hospitalized. The attack forced the evacuation of tens of people, with a woman killed in the district of Dernoskoye after debris from destroyed drone sparked a fire. Another person died in Holuskivi district. The Ukrainian State Emergency Service reported At least 27 people were evacuated from a burning building. The attack marks a significant escalation in the conflict, with Kiev bearing the brunt of the violence. Meanwhile, Russian air defense units have destroyed 59 Ukrainian drones overnight, as per the country's defense ministry on Sunday. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said he is optimistic that Trump administration can broker a 30-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Witkoff, who is officially Trump's Middle East envoy, has played a growing role in efforts to bring about an end to the 3-year-old Ukraine war. The Kremlin said this week that Putin had agreed in a call with U.S. counterpart Donald Trump to observe a 30-day ceasefire on energy targets. During a conversation with talk show host Tucker Carlson, Witkoff said Russian President Putin had questions about how to handle a wide range of battlefield scenarios during a Tuesday telephone conversation with President Trump and U.S. officials.
So we're going to want the Russians to be satisfied in some respect. We're going to want the Ukrainians to be satisfied in some respect. We're talking to the Europeans. When I say satisfied, feeling that we came out of this thing, okay, with a deal that everybody can live with. I think that we have moved Russia in ways that no one thought was possible. So in the last conversation, they agreed to an energy infrastructure ceasefire, which means Russia is not going to target Ukraine's energy infrastructure, and Ukraine will not target Russia's energy infrastructure. They've never talked about that before. Here we are talking about that. They've never talked about reinstituting the Black Sea moratorium on maritime hits. Ukraine firing on Russian ships, Russia firing on Ukrainian ships.
And President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday that he had met top military commanders in the country's northeast to discuss the front line in Ukraine's conflict with Russia and meeting with U.S. officials due to get underway in Saudi Arabia on Sunday. Zelensky said he discussed frontline sectors in Ukraine east as well as in western Russia's Kursk region. This is where Ukrainian troops remain 7 months after a cross-border incursion. Ukrainian troops have for months been fending off Russian assaults around the city, where Moscow's forces have been slowly advancing to try to eventually capture the entire region. And Poland's Prime Minister, along with the Defense and Interior Ministers, visited the Polish-Belarusian border on Saturday to inspect the fortified border barrier, a part of the country's enhanced defense program. Poland had previously disclosed $2.55 billion initiative named East Shield that was aimed at bolstering its defenses along the eastern border with Belarus and Russia, with an expected completion date of 2028. European Union, EU leaders are now in agreement that EU must be fully capable of defending itself against a Russian attack by 2030. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk said on Friday, speaking after a summit of EU leaders that discussed the EU plan to step up defense readiness. Iranian state media has released footage of the country's military unveiling a new missile system on 3 strategic islands in the Gulf. El-Reza Tangsiri, naval commander of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the ideological branch of the Iran's military, said, "We are capable of attacking enemy bases, vessels and assets in the region." And now news coming in, India has requested the extradition of fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi from Belgium. He was accused of defrauding Punjab National Bank of some 13,850 crore rupees. Indian investigative agencies have been pursuing him since he fled India in January of 2018 after PNB, the bank, fraud surfaced. In May 2024, Choksi told Special Mumbai Court that he was unable to return to India due to reasons beyond his control. The statement came after Enforcement Directorate sought to declare him a fugitive economic offender and seize his properties. Choksi was previously believed to be residing in Antigua and Barbuda. His wife Preeti is also known to be a Belgian citizen. Moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump attended the NCAA Division I Wrestling Championship at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Saturday. The crowd welcomed the president with loud cheers of USA. tech billionaire and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, Trump's press secretary Caroline Leavitt, Senator McCormick and Congressman Jim Jordan were seen sitting in the first row with the president. President Trump threatened new actions against lawyers and law firms that bring immigration lawsuits and other cases against the government. He deems it unethical. In a memorandum to U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi late on Friday, Trump said lawyers were helping to fuel rampant fraud and meritless claims, according to him, in the immigration system, and directed the Justice Department to seek sanctions against attorneys for professional misconduct. The order also took aim at law firms that sue the administration in what Trump, a Republican, called baseless partisan lawsuits. He asked Bondi to refer such firms to the White House to be stripped of security clearances and for federal contracts they worked on to be terminated. While the Trump administration has been hit with more than 100 lawsuits challenging White House actions on immigration, transgender rights and other issues since the start of the president's second term, legal advocacy groups, along with at least 12 major law firms, have brought many of the cases. Amid a diplomatic spat between the United States and Venezuela over the recent deportation flights of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador, Venezuela has reached an agreement with the United States to resume repatriation flights of migrants. President Maduro announced in a televised address on Saturday. Maduro said the flights would commence on Sunday. The U.S. said deportees sent to El Salvador were members of Venezuela's Tren de Aragua gang, a claim that Venezuela's interior minister denies. The Trump administration now faces a March 25th deadline to respond to a judicial request for more details on the deportations to El Salvador, as Washington-based U.S. District Judge James Posberg considers whether officials violated his order temporarily blocking the expulsions. Columbia University agreed to some changes demanded by U.S. President Donald Trump's administration before it can negotiate to regain federal funding that was pulled this month over allegations that the school tolerated anti-Semitism on campus. The Ivy League university laid out plans to reform its disciplinary process, hire security officers with arrest powers, and appoint a new official with broad remit to review departments that offer courses on West Asia. Columbia's dramatic concessions to the government's extraordinary demands, which stem from protests that convulsed the Manhattan campus over the Israel-Gaza conflict, immediately prompted criticism. The outcome could have broad ramifications, as the Trump administration has warned at least 60 other universities of similar action. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Thousands rally in Paris and other French cities against racism and the rise of the far right. South Korea declares state of disaster after multiple forest fires hit the country's south. Pope Francis is doing better to be discharged from hospital.
इंडिया में जितने इंडियंस हैं उतने ही इंडियाज भी. So for the record, this is my India.
This is my Andekha. Unsuna.
Unbelievable India. This is my favorite designer wear wala India.
My Sakkat Energy Hero India.
এই হলো আমার দুর্দান্ত রোড ট্রিপের ইন্ডিয়া.
So India, join the Waves Explorer Challenge.
Show us what makes you say, for the record.
This is my India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Turkey is ablaze with protest as demonstrators take to the streets to condemn the arrest of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu. The country's worst unrest in over a decade has spread to over 55 provinces, with clashes between riot police and protesters escalating into violence. The opposition CHP party has vowed to continue the protest, backed by pro-Kurdish Dem party. Tensions reach a boiling point. More in this report by Antrasana.
Turkey is witnessing its worst protests in over a decade, with aggressive demonstrations erupting across the country in response to the arrest of Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu. The protests, which began on Wednesday, have spread to over 55 provinces, with clashes reported between riot police and protesters. Imamoglu's arrest on charges of terrorism and corruption has sparked widespread outrage, with many viewing it as a politically motivated move to prevent him from running in the 2028 presidential election. The protests have been marked by violence, with riot police using tear gas, rubber bullets, and percussion grenades to disperse the crowds. Meanwhile, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan on Saturday said that the main opposition was engaging in street terrorism.
The Republican People's Party, CHP, attempted to provoke our nation over this corruption operation. They have been doing everything they can for 4 days to disturb the peace of the nation and polarize our people. From insulting anyone they encounter to attacking our police officers who are only doing their jobs. From intimidating our members of the judiciary who are investigating corruption reports to suppressing the national will with street terrorism, they have it all.
Baskı altına almaya kadar ne ararsan.
The demonstrations were called by the main opposition CHP, which was on Sunday to formally name İmamoğlu as its candidate for the 2028 presidential race. The opposition CHP party has vowed to continue the protests. The pro-Kurdish opposition DEM, the third party in parliament, has also thrown its support behind the protests.
We are here to improve who we are, our future, our life from now on. We can neither survive as a university student nor as a laborer. We are trying to make a living with the 3 pennies we get, as if it's not enough. We are trying to support our family. Actually, we are here for democracy.
Whatever the people want should happen. I think he should go. If everyone is here, there must be a reason. For example, presidents in foreign countries resign when they face the reaction of the people. Here, they do not.
The protests are the biggest in Turkey since the massive demonstrations of 2013, which began at Istanbul's Gezi Park to protest its demolition and spread across almost the entire country. Antara Sinha for DD India.
And my colleague Tanvi Taneja is tracking this story closely, joins us live from New Delhi. Tanvi, what details can you share about the terrorism charges, corruption charges faced by Istanbul Mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu?
Yes, Shubhendu. Well, not very much is known about the charges Ekrem İmamoğlu is accused of, but we do know that he was arrested at an early morning raid at his residence and on charges of financial fraud, corruption and terrorism charges. Well, he's been accused of inciting unrest in the country. Some media outlets also say that he has been aiding allegedly the outlawed Kurdish Workers' Party, and he's been using his position for political gains. Now, these are all the charges that Ekrem İmamoğlu has categorically denied. Now, what is important to remember that Ekrem İmamoğlu is the main political rival of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. So, protests against his arrest have been going on for the 4th night. Now, these protests are not just in Istanbul or Ankara capital, which is the capital, but it has now spread nationwide to across 81 provinces of Turkey, and now it is being seen by the youth, like we saw in our report, as an attempt by the administration to stifle the voice of democracy. So these protests have are being controlled by massive massive outrage, and police is using tear gas, water cannons to actually control the crowd. And what is now expected today, the court is expected to have another questioning round of İmamoğlu and is going to give its ruling whether to jail him or release him.
Right, and a little more on that. In view of the widespread protest that the Istanbul mayor, as you mentioned, is projected as the main opposition candidate to President Erdogan, What are the political implications of the mayor's arrest?
So Ekrem Imamoglu is the main political rival of Recep Tayyip Erdogan. And what is important is that the timing of his arrest, so within the next 2 days, he was going to be officially nominated as the party leader of the Republican People's Party, which is the main opposition party of Turkey. So, and that party meeting was to happen today on Sunday, and it was supposed to be, attended by 1 million party workers. So if that would have been fructified, Ekrem Imamoglu would have become, it would have solidified his legitimacy as the main rival of Recep Tayyip Erdogan. So this is important to see, and as political observers are saying that this arrest is going to be a dare for Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and Ekrem Imamoglu's wife has also said that this is a targeted attempt to arrest the future leadership of Turkey. But the elections are still 3 years away, so people's perception can be, diffused. But the political implications of Ekrem Imamoglu's arrest are only going to play out from here.
Right. Tanvi, thank you for those updates.
Thank you.
Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney is expected to announce snap elections on Sunday, seeking a stronger mandate as his country fights off trade war annexation threats from Donald Trump's United States. Carney announces he's bringing parliamentary elections forward several months from October later this year. In power for a decade, the Liberal government had slid into deep unpopularity, but Carney will be hoping to ride a wave of Canadian patriotism to a new majority thanks to Trump's threats. The president's open hostility towards his northern neighbor, a NATO ally and historically one of the country's closest partners, has upended the Canadian political landscape. Domestic issues such as cost of living and immigration usually dominate Canadian elections, but this year one key topic tops the list: who can best handle Trump? Moving on, London's Heathrow Airport resumed full operation on Saturday and ordered a probe into how it dealt with a power outage that shut Europe's busiest air hub for almost a day as airlines warned of further delays and cancellations. The airport, world's fifth busiest, had been due to handle 1,351 flights on Friday, flying up to 291,000 passengers. Heathrow said it had tasked an independent board member, former Transport Minister Ruth Kelly, with undertaking a review of the airport's crisis management plan and its response to the incident with the aim of boosting resilience. At least 3 people were killed, 14 others injured in a mass shooting at a park in the desert city of Las Cruces in New Mexico. Las Cruces Police Chief Jeremy Story, in a briefing on Saturday, said an altercation between 2 groups of people escalated into gunfire between both groups at a car show at Youth Park parking lot on Friday evening. He added that police are pursuing leads on suspects, but no arrests have been made. He urged witnesses to provide relevant footage and information to authorities. Tens and thousands of people in Paris and other French cities rallied against racism and the rise of the far right. The rallies took place amid the rightward shift in French politics, the government pledging to tighten immigration policies and broader controls. Some 91,000 people took part in protest across France, said the Interior Ministry, with the Paris rally attracting over 21,000 people. Many of those marching highlighted the growing strength of reactionary political forces in France, but also in the United States. In other news, floods continue to wreak havoc across Madrid on Saturday after Storm Martino. Heavy rains caused rivers to overflow, leaving fields submerged. The Manzanares River, which runs through the heart of Madrid, has swollen to dangerous levels, prompting authorities to issue flood warnings. Police have cordoned off affected areas and emergency services are closely monitoring the situation. The impact of storm has been felt beyond Madrid as various regions across Spain face similar severe weather conditions. Storm Martino first hit Spain on Thursday. Authorities have warned residents to stay away from areas where levels of water are getting closer to the streets. South Korea has declared a state of disaster after multiple forest fires hit the country's south, killing at least 4 and displacing hundreds of residents from their homes. Firefighters were scrambling to put out the fires that started in the southern county of Shencheong on Friday. Helicopters released water from over a deadly wildfire in southeast of South Korea. The Korea Forest Service said Shencheong fire had been 25% contained as of Saturday night. More than 300 personnel along with 20 helicopters have been deployed to tackle the fire, which began in the county on Friday afternoon. Pope Francis will be discharged from hospital on Sunday. Will need 2 months of rest at the Vatican, one of the doctors treating him informed on Saturday. Pope Francis was admitted to hospital on February 14th with a severe respiratory infection that has required evolving treatment. The Vatican said earlier on Saturday that Pope was planned to make his first appearance in more than 5 weeks on Sunday, offering a blessing from window of his room in Rome's hospital where he has been battling double pneumonia. The Pope has not been able to do so since February 9th. This is before going to the hospital.
The good news, which I imagine the whole world is waiting for, is that tomorrow the Holy Father will be discharged. He will be discharged. Tomorrow the Holy Father will return to Santa Marta. Here is a little dutiful summary, as we have been asked, of what has happened in these 6 weeks or so.
The Embassy of India organized a program to celebrate the 60th Indian Technical Economic Cooperation Day. It highlights the role of Nepalese alumni from Indian institutions in strengthening people-to-people ties. iTech is the leading capacity building platform of Ministry of External Affairs and the oldest institutionalized arrangement for international capacity building. It has trained more than 200,000 officials from over 160 countries. Foreign Minister of Nepal, Dr. Arzurana Deoba, recalled her experience studying in India.
So for a lot of generation of Nepalese, India has been a place where we go to study, where we go to do research, where we get trained, and we learn a lot of things from there. And also our Indian brothers and sisters also come to Nepal and they also learn a lot. And the diversity that Nepal and India have are very similar. And I think at some point of time, many of our ancestors migrated from the subcontinent. Many of now Nepalese migrate to India in search of work. So this has been like a very big family. And
in the program, Brigadier General Pawan Khatri also shared his experiences and insights about iTech.
From exchange of various military training to joint exercises and disaster relief missions, our partnership is testament to a trust and unity. For this, the iTech program has been instrumental in strengthening institutional capabilities while nurturing personal connection that transcend professional ties.
Let's now turn to other stories making news around the world. Around 2,000 people joined an Elbows Up Canada rally in downtown Toronto. Originally a hockey term, Elbows Up now symbolizes support for Canada amid trade war with US and Donald Trump's remarks about making Canada the 51st state. Environmentalists in Brazil's Manaus gathered at the meeting of voters where Rio Negro and Rio Solimões converged to form the Amazon River to celebrate World Water Day on Saturday. The event themed Our Voices at COP30 in defense of water and life in the Amazon called the attention to critical importance of water as a fundamental right and the ongoing social environmental crisis. In Sudan, Community Soup Kitchen was organized in war-torn African country. More than 8 million of Sudan's estimated 50 million people are on the brink of famine, which has already been declared in 5 areas of the country. Nearly 25 million people are suffering dire food insecurity. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Action against illegal online gaming entities by India. India observes Shahid Divas honouring sacrifices of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev. And today is World Meteorology Day, highlighting the theme Closing the Early Warning Gap Together.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked, we just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. On Sunday, March 23rd, DD News organized a walkathon to promote Fit India initiative and champion inclusivity. Co-sponsored by the Fit India Initiative and Inclusive Divyangjan Entrepreneur Association, the event covered a 4-kilometer route starting and ending at Doordarshan Bhavan, emphasizing accessibility for specially abled persons. Participants were recognized with awards in various categories. All finishers received token of appreciation as well. The walkathon reinforced the message that fitness is for everyone and highlighted the importance of creating inclusive spaces for all. Could spot some of our team members there. Moving on, in the wake of floods in Botswana, India sent first tranche of assistance. The Ministry of External Affairs said that the tranche comprised 10 tons of essential medicines, surgical supplies, water purifiers, among other things. Botswana authorities said at least 9 people were confirmed dead as rare flooding hit the semi-arid country. More than 5,000 people have been affected by these floods due to record rainfall. While the situation is improving with rain subsiding, more than 600 people remain at evacuation centers. Close to the city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, there is a Gurukul run by Acharya Jonas Massetti, a well-known Brazilian teacher of Vedantic philosophy and culture. For his contribution to Indian spiritual tradition, Acharya Jonas has been honored with Padma Shri Award this year. DD India's Shobhan Saxena from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, filed this report.
At the Vishwavidya Institute in Petropolis, Acharya Jonas has been teaching Vedanta and Sanskrit to his Brazilian students for more than 7 years. The Padma Shri Award, he believes, will give a lot of encouragement to the Vedantic community in Brazil.
Well, it was a big honor for us to receive this award, and we felt very humbled because our mission is to spread the light of the Vedic knowledge in the West, and mostly in Brazil in Portuguese language. And we never imagined that our work would reach such a range. And we also, as Brazilians, trying to do our best to uphold this tradition. So suddenly, when we received this award, it was like a big recognition for all the family. It's more than like my work, it's the work of hundreds of people.
In addition to being a school of Indian philosophy and practices, it has also become one of the best examples of cultural exchange between two emerging countries, India and Brazil.
Brazil and India, they have a very interesting karma connection, because the discovery of Brazil happened when the Portuguese people tried to reach India. Both countries has a very strong spiritual background, and the spiritual practices are very fertile here, as they are in India also. And we are seeing that this spiritual connection is upholding and sustaining a deeper connection in other levels of society, the commercial side, on the political side, because there is a deep understanding of society and of what is it to be a human being, the values.
Acharya Jonas also teaches Sanskrit to his students. They all performed a Ramayana play in Sanskrit in front of Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to Rio for the G20 summit in November 2024. It was a proud moment for all of them.
We were very anxious. We had to wait for many hours to be there, and we did all this waiting praying. and connecting to our sense of gratitude towards the Vedic tradition and towards India. We could feel also his presence and like the love that all these people had towards this tradition, the connection with the Ramayana story, the culture, the Sanskrit, the students searching for self-knowledge. Everything collapsed in a big sensation of, bliss and anand at that moment.
In the beautiful mountain town of Petropolis, Acharya Jonas Maseti runs this Vishwavidya Gurukulam, where he has been teaching Vedanta and Indian philosophy to thousands of Brazilians for years. This is Shobhan Saxena for DD India from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
India observes Shahid Divas today, honouring the sacrifices of freedom fighters Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev. On March 23, 1931, these brave revolutionaries laid down their lives for India's freedom. Their legacy, courage and commitment continues to inspire generations. Here's a special report from Sujata Lochap.
On 23rd March 1931, three patriots and freedom fighters, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev, were hanged to death. They were given the death sentence in the Lahore conspiracy case. The day is now remembered as Shahid Divas or Martyrs' Day. The British Governor-General promulgated an ordinance to establish a special tribunal to try the Lahore conspiracy case while denying the accused the right to appeal. The British imperialists branded them as criminals, but in the hearts of millions, they were heroes. History is testament to the fact that the three young men showed neither remorse nor fear while they were being taken to the gallows at Lahore Central Jail, but happily embraced death, shouting, "Inqilab Zindabad." Inqilab Zindabad! In fact, the song, Mera Rang De Basanti Chola, gave birth to one of the greatest freedom songs. It became Bhagat Singh's song of the gallows. He was said to have marched to the hangman's chamber with this song on his lips. Today, Indians across the country honor them with a deep sense of gratitude. Their story of courage has inspired many movies which have relived the spirit of supreme sacrifice. Bhagat Singh was just 23 years old when he was hanged. His legend continues to inspire generations of Indians even today. For him, death in the cause of freedom was like a celebration that has continued even after 94 years. Sujata Lochap for DD India.
And India is also celebrating birth anniversary of Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, a key figure in India's freedom struggle and socialist movement. Born on March 23, 1910, he was a passionate advocate of social justice and equality. His legacy continues to inspire a generation. Here's more.
In the grand narrative of India's quest for freedom, there are luminaries whose visions transcend time, illuminating the path for generations to come. Among them stands Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, a man whose intellect and passion ignited a movement, whose words became a clarion call for justice, and whose life was a testament to the power of conviction. On March 23, 1910, in Akbarpur, Uttar Pradesh, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia emerged as one of the most influential figures in India's fight for freedom and the socialist movement. A revolutionary philosopher, prolific writer, and dedicated social worker, Lohia's life was a testament to his unwavering commitment to justice and equality. Educated in India and Germany, Lohia's academic brilliance shone through as he earned his doctorate with a thesis on salt taxation in India, reflecting his deep understanding of socio-economic issues. His return to India marked the beginning of a relentless pursuit for freedom, ignited by Mahatma Gandhi's call for satyagraha. During the Quit India movement of 1942, Lohia played a pivotal role, leading from the front while remaining underground for nearly 2 years. His writings inspired countless individuals to join the struggle, and he was arrested 25 times for his unwavering activism. On August 21, 1963, Lohia made headlines with a powerful speech in the Lok Sabha, lower house of India, highlighting the stark economic disparities in the country at the time. He boldly stated that while luxury thrives in the palaces of few, millions of Indians struggle to survive on 3 annas a day. Lohia's vision extended beyond the mainland. In 1946, he ignited the flame of freedom in Goa, challenging Portuguese oppression and inspiring a movement that would eventually lead to Goa's liberation. Dr. Lohia was not just a politician. He was a thinker who integrated Gandhian philosophy into socialist thought, advocating for a decentralized economy and the empowerment of the underprivileged. Even today, Lohia's legacy resonates. Prime Minister Narendra Modi described him as a towering intellectual. Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia's life was a relentless struggle for the causes he held dear. His vision for a just and equitable society continues to inspire generations. Dr. Lohia's remarkable legacy is unmatched. His story is not just the story of a freedom fighter, but the essence of a dreamer who dared to envision a society where equality and dignity reign supreme. Sujata Lochab for DD India.
And remembering India's freedom struggle and socialist movement, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on X has said, and I quote, "Remembering Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia on his birth anniversary, a visionary leader, fierce freedom fighter and an icon of social justice, he dedicated his life to empowering the underprivileged and building a strong India," unquote. He also writes, today our nation remembers supreme sacrifices of Bhagat Singh, Rajguru and Sukhdev. Their fearless pursuit of freedom and justice continues to inspire us all, unquote. Prime Minister also shared a special video on the occasion.
इस मिट्टी की सौगंध खाकर हमारे वीरों ने आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ी। इसी माटी में 100 साल पहले एक छोटा सा बच्चा लकड़ियां बो रहा था और जब उसके पिता ने पूछा कि क्या बो रहे हो, तो वो बोला कि बंदूकें बो रहा हूं। पिता ने पूछा कि बंदूकों का क्या करोगे, तो बालक ने कहा अपने देश को आजाद कराऊंगा। उसी बालक ने बड़े होकर बलिदान की वो ऊंचाई हासिल की जिसे आज भी छूना मुश्किल है। वो बालक कोई और नहीं, वीर शहीद भगत सिंह थे। आज इतने वर्षों बाद भी अमर शहीद भगत सिंह, राजगुरु और सुखदेव के बलिदान की गाथा देश के बच्चे बच्चे की जुबान पर। नैनम छिदन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनम दहति पावकः, यानी ना शस्त्र जिसे काट सकते हैं, ना अग्नि जिसे जला सकती है। देश के लिए बलिदान देने वाले ऐसे ही होते हैं। शहीद दिवस पर मैं देश के लिए अपना सर्वस्व न्योछावर करने वाले सभी वीर वीरांगनाओं को कृतज्ञ राष्ट्र की तरफ से भावांजलि अर्पित करता हूं।
Today marks World Meteorology Day, highlighting the theme Closing the Early Warning Gap Together. It's a global call to strengthen weather forecasting and early warning systems, ensuring that no community is left behind in the face of climate change and extreme weather events.
Today we celebrate the World Meteorology Day, a day
dedicated to recognizing the vital role weather and climate play in our lives. This year's the theme, Closing the Early Warning Gap Together, emphasizes the critical importance of collaborative efforts to enhance early warning systems, aiming to mitigate the impact of climate change and extreme weather events. Since its inception on March 23, 1950, meteorology has guided us through stormy nights and sunny days, safeguarding communities and inspiring innovations. From forecasting tomorrow's rain to monitoring long-term climate change, meteorologists help us understand our planet's rhythms. Their work fuels early warning that saves lives, supports sustainable development, and drives research that unlocks the mysteries of our atmosphere.
India Meteorological Department works as a permanent member of World Meteorological Organizations. Also, India represents the membership of Executive Council, and I at present is the third Vice President of World Meteorological Organizations. We also support this early warning for all mechanism taken off by United Nations and WMO. We are committed to the world bodies to support for strengthening of meteorological observations and forecasting facility in the small island nations and the poor countries.
On this special day, we honor the experts who study the sky, the scientists who decode the patterns, and the technology that brings weather information right to our fingertips. Their commitment empowers us to adapt, prepare, and thrive amid nature's challenges. Let's celebrate the brilliance of meteorology and remember, every forecast, every radar scan, every data point contributes to a safer, more informed world. Happy World Meteorology Day! Extreme weather is unpredictable, but early warning can save lives. This World Meteorology Day, let's focus global efforts to strengthen forecast, protect communities, and build a more resilient future against climate change. With camera person Shiv, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for GD India from Delhi.
India has doubled its gross domestic product (GDP) in the last 10 years at a growth of 105% from $2.1 trillion in 2015 to $4.3 trillion in 2025. According to data released by the International Monetary Fund, India is now the fifth largest country in terms of GDP in the world after the US, China, Germany and Japan. It added that India is set to outpace Japan soon as the latter's GDP grew nil in the past decade. In comparison, United States and China's GDP grew by 66% and 44% respectively in the same period. Australia's government has said on Sunday that the federal budget this week would include a $1.8 billion Australian dollars extension to a scheme to reduce energy bills. This is ahead of what is expected to be a closely fought general elections due by May. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's centre-left Labour government has already handed out $3.5 billion Australian dollar in energy bill relief in a bid to tackle inflation as it grapples with rising living costs in the nation of around 27 million. On Sunday, ahead of handing down on Tuesday's final budget before the elections, Albanese said Australian households and around 1 million small businesses would get another $150 Australian in rebates automatically applied to their electricity bills in quarterly installments. And the US auto industry is bracing for the fallout from the new trade policies, including 25% tariffs on the sector, as announced by US President Donald Trump's administration. Following a 30-day delay, the policies are scheduled to take effect in April, raising particular concerns among businesses and residents in Michigan. The latest headwind facing the so-called is tariffs. Many cars and auto parts cross the border multiple times between US and Canada and Mexico, but that system could soon be upended, with tariffs threatening a huge increase in the cost of cross-border traffic. According to a recent study by Fitch Rating, Michigan's economy would likely be the hardest hit of all US states from tariff fallout, with 19% of its imports coming from Canada, Mexico and China. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for all the action from the world of sports. Let's talk about cricket. Phil Swords' extraordinary assault in Virat Kohli's star power helped Royal Challengers Bengaluru outshined defending champion Kolkata Knight Riders by 7 wickets at the IPL 18th edition opener at the Eden Gardens on Saturday. Chasing 174, Kohli and Salt unleashed firepower to plunder 80 runs in the power play on a batting-friendly track and make the chase a cakewalk. Earlier, Quinton de Kock was caught behind Josh Hazlewood before making an impact in KKR colours. Krunal Pandya also starred with the ball, taking 3 wickets for KKR. Captain Ajinkya Rahane's half-century was the only positive input. In IPL 2024 runners-up, Sunrisers Hyderabad are all set to take on Rajasthan Royals in the second match of the Indian Premier League 2025. Sunrisers, led by Pat Cummins, finished as the runners-up last season after losing to Kolkata Knight Riders in the final. Having also lost the 2018 final to Chennai Super Kings, the Orange Army would be looking to come out on top this time around, when Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma are expected to play key roles. Rajasthan Royals, meanwhile, on the other hand, are yet to win the IPL since their triumph in 2008. They have Ryan Prayag as the captain. For the first 3 games, Sanju Samson confirmed that he would play as a specialist batter. Also, immense excitement among the cricket fans for the second match in the evening as arch rivals Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians will face off one another tonight. CSK and Mumbai Indians are the 2 most successful teams in the IPL with a combined 10 titles. And DD India's Narayan Singh joins us live now on these big matches. Narayan, Sunrisers Hyderabad were, as you mentioned, runner-up last time. They would like to keep their momentum against Rajasthan Royals.
Definitely, Shubhendu. The kind of cricket they played last season, it was incredible. They redefined the batting style in the T20 format, and the kind of score they put in the last year's edition, it was mammoth. Their batting trio of Klaasen, Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma, we can say that they plundered the sixes, and Hyderabad outfit scored 178 sixes, the maximum by any team in the IPL history last season. And out of 178, 112 sixes were hit by Klaasen and Abhishek Sharma as well as Travis Head. So this is the ultra-aggressive batting line they have. And talking about their core group of players, they have just retained. They are all core group of players during the mega auction. They were all, we know that, on expected lines. Klaasen was there and Travis Head was there, and their captain Pat Cummins was there, and Nitish Kumar Reddy too. So all in all, it's a very dangerous outfit, and they missed the title by a whisker last time around. But talking about the Rajasthan Royals, they too have their problems. In top 5, they don't have any overseas batsmen apart from Shimron Hatmoyer. So they depend upon the Indian players for their top order exploits. If we take a look, last time around, Mumbai Indians just did this thing that they don't have any foreign player in the top 5, and they finished bottom.
And the second big game, and for the fans, Dhoni is going to be in action again.
Definitely, Dhoni, whenever he plays there, he comes there for few over the decibel raises at any stadium, whether it is Chepauk or anywhere in the India, and it looks like the stadium converts into a yellow sea. And that's why we can say that it will remains to be seen if Dhoni at this age, he can repeat the feat of hitting the sixes to the international bowlers, what he did last time around. It will remains to be seen. But the Mumbai versus Chennai Super Kings is the real El Clasico of the cricket, 2 heavyweights of the IPL, the T20 format, winning the maximum titles. Both the teams have 5 titles under their belt. One side there will be MS Dhoni, and if you talk about the other team, Rohit Sharma is there. But this time around, their top 2 batsmen for Mumbai Indians, top 2 players especially, Hardik Pandya is not playing in the first match because of he was fined for the slow over rate in the previous season of the IPL. Jasprit Bumrah, because of the injury concern, he is also not there. So they have their own problem. Last time they finished bottom, and they will look for the redemption after the struggles of the previous season. So all in all, it's going to be a blockbuster match, and the fans will all over the world be glued to the TV screen for this mega clash.
Enjoy the matches. Thank you, Narayan, for joining us with those updates. And millions of people across the world contributed their part and participated in Earth Hour. In the symbolic event, people turned off non-essential lights for an hour to raise awareness about climate change and environmental issues. An hour of darkness that can take all of us towards a brighter future. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS. Scan this QR code and download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.